Political protests are all the rage these days. Anybody with a camera and an opinion somehow now thinks that they have a platform to share that opinion with the world. And in some cases, they do. And you're free to say whatever you want, but you're not free from the consequences. Welcome to the Mental Health Janitors, where we help you clean up the mess in your head. I'm your host, Sergeant Q, and with me, as always, Doc Jess.
Hi, thanks for being here.
All right, Jess, there's been a lot happening in our world over these last couple months, start of the new year. Some craziness has been happening. Dictators are getting taken off the map, and freedom is ringing through the globe. Whether you love Trump or you hate him, you can't deny the results that this guy is getting. However, protesting has also become all the rage since I'd say about 2020. Protesting and marching and doing all of these things over any little thing. And I've talked about this before, where people try to say, oh, this is a grassroots, spontaneous protest. No. This stuff is very well orchestrated by people who have a lot of power and money, because when you see these protests happening, when you see these things happening all over the country in different towns and cities, all the signs are exactly the same. The chants are the exact same. And what you're finding is that there are these paid protesters, people that literally their job, and it's been exposed. They're making $70,000, $80,000 a year to be a paid protester and to organize these protests. So where the money's coming from, it's undetermined. Maybe from some of those small daycares. I don't know. It's coming from somewhere to pay these people these exorbitant salaries to go to these cities and organize people to then protest and make it look like it's this huge grassroots thing, which is not the case. But every now and then, you do get this very authentic protest that you can tell is not part of some big media coverage, not part of some big conspiracy theory. It's just one guy and his voice. No cameras, no social media. And I think that is exactly what the First Amendment was designed for. Those kind of protests. But even those can go sideways. People crash out. So there is a line between protesting and disruption. And it's something that we have to pay very close attention to. Because when you protest, that's protected by law. When you are disrupting somebody else's session, the Armed Services Committee meetings, the freeway, yes,
Stopping people from being able to drive down the road
or get into the
not constitutionally protected.
airport, which happened here in Seattle last year. Those things are not legal. Those things I can't support.
Nope. Well, and it stems from a position of entitlement.
Right. It does. It
If
does.
you do that kind of protesting, you have no idea. You have no idea how free and privileged you are.
100%. Go to any other country and try that. And it won't even make the news. You're just going to disappear.
What will make the news is you being beheaded on national television.
That's right. Or you literally just disappear. Nobody ever hears from you again. You're just a missing persons report.
Sorry, I didn't mean to tangent that, but
No, it's true.
it's entitlement. We're spoiled brats.
And as Americans, we have that luxury. But sometimes we take it too far. Of course, it's a Marine, full uniform, except he didn't have his core frames on. He had Go Faster, so he was out of uniform, dirtbag. But I digress. Full uniform. He goes into the Armed Services Subcommittee where they're doing a hearing about the war in Iran. So they're going to be discussing this. He bursts in the doors, full uniform, and starts saying his piece, which is kind of on that line of like, can you do that? It's in the middle of a sub-hearing committee. You have the freedom of speech. So that wasn't the issue. The issue for me was that once he was asked to leave, he didn't. And then he tried to physically resist being removed. He stuffed his hand in a door jamb as they were trying to pull him out, and it broke his arm. You're free to say whatever you want, but you're not free from the consequences. I love that this guy was protesting on his own. No bunch of media there. He wasn't filming himself. He just went in, said his piece. God bless you, bro. You can do that all day long. Where he messed up was he let his emotions get the best of him, and he's a Marine. So the minute somebody grabbed him, he went into fight mode, which I get because he's already amped up. We talk about this. He went into that fight or flight mode, and he tried to hold on the door, got his arm broke. That's your fault. And he's probably going to be facing some charges now because of the physical resistance that he gave to security as they were trying to take him out. Protesting is great. We have that freedom in America, and we don't have it really anywhere else in the world like we do here. But sometimes we can even take that too far, which is the case that I just saw with this Marine.
Well, and then to add on to that, a couple of the videos we watched preparing for this podcast, you have people witness it and then go on their cameras and say, "Oh, he did this and this and this because of this and this and this," and they're literally in their fight or flight as well. So
Mhm.
they're not thinking clearly, and they're saying things and putting things out there that aren't true to compound this narrative that is making everything worse. And so it's just this constant repetition of these people, these human beings who don't have the emotional intelligence to take a breath, take a pause, literally power in the pause.
Jess, you're becoming more like me. You used to be the soft one, and now you're getting a little bit of these sharp edges like me. I love it.
And I don't protect my it's gonna be taken someday. I I see that like that. I'm gonna try to keep it as long as I can. Okay.
It's this idea of tough love. It's like, look, you can go do those things, but you're free to do it. You're not free from the consequences. And people want both. They want to be able to behave badly, want to be able to crash out, and then not have to face the consequences. And then when they do face the consequences, then they immediately blame somebody else. It's somebody else's fault. It's this, it's that. Blame everybody else instead of recognizing it was their own bad behavior that put them in that position. And now they're dealing with those results. And we've seen over this just 3 months of this year, we've seen multiple people suffer very severe consequences for their actions. When you had the lady that was shot by ICE, you had the other guy that was shot by ICE because they were disrupting their job, the law, the programs that or not the programs, but the operations that those guys were trying to conduct. They got in the way with that. And now you're seeing a lot of these people getting arrested when they go and try and block these officers. They're pulling them out, arresting them.
Well, that's what they should have done in the first place, and both of those lives would have been saved.
I agree with you
Because they
100%.
were doing those same things a week before, and because we're trying to be soft and let these people do these things, they didn't get charged with what they were supposed to get charged with. They got let off, so then they feel empowered to keep doing it, and
They escalate.
yeah, and if you've stayed with us, you've seen that there's even things about one of those situations that we did not like how the government handled it. We didn't like how they came out just in automatic full support of law enforcement right away without all the facts, without a we we're not sides
No.
here. We're trying to look at things from above and say, okay, where's the facts here? What is everything put together? And then let's come up with an educated opinion. We're not just hyper focusing on one side or the other. And at the end of the day, the problem is lack of consequence in society in America
Mhm.
these days. Period. Done. That's it. Kids suck because they don't have consequences. Adults suck because they don't have consequences. There's my sharp edges.
See? I love it.
Same
She didn't feisty today. But that is the problem. That is the problem. There's no
Reinforcement.
personal accountability.
We were just having a conversation with our teenager, right? Because she gets some reels sometimes. She's 17 almost. So she gets some Christian reels. She usually just watches Christian things, but some things get slid in there, right?
Oh, sure.
About more of this gentle parenting type idea. So she's like, I want to unpack this with you guys. And my husband made such a good point. He was like, gentle parenting just started like 40 years ago. For thousands and thousands and thousands of years, you do something, you get a consequence. You do something, you get a consequence. And why is it that Every single generation before these got better and better and better, smarter and more disciplined. And every generation keeps getting better until recently, we're showing each generation now is getting worse and worse and worse. And it's because this stupid running from personal accountability, teaching our kids they don't have to have consequences.
And everybody gets the same result and it doesn't matter what effort they give. Yeah, the participation trophy, right? It doesn't matter what effort you put in, everybody gets the same result. I remember when my son experienced this for the first time in wrestling. Went to a wrestling tournament, his first one, wrestling tournament, and the guys who won, they have the podium there, photos, first, second, and third. But then they give every kid a medal. Every kid got a medal. And and all the kids are lining up to go stand on the podium and get it. I said, "What are you doing, Austin? We're not doing that." He's like, "What are you talking about? I got a medal." I said, "You didn't win, bro. They gave those to everybody. You don't celebrate that. No, we're not doing that." And he had this look like, "Well, everybody else is doing it." I said, "I don't care what everybody else is doing. If you want to stand on that podium with a medal, then you get first, second, or third, not a participation. We're not going to go up there and pretend like you did something outstanding when you were just average. And average is okay.
That's okay.
It's fine. But these guys were above average. That's why they got that reward."
And they put the work in.
But I remember having to have that discussion when I think he was like 10 years old. But I watched all these other parents line up all their kids. I was just like, you've got to be kidding me right now. So that's what I see happening now. You're right. It's that generation of entitlement because there was no consequences for their actions as kids, and now they're adults and they try to replicate that same thing. And it just doesn't work that way. It just doesn't work that way. So what are some things that people can do, Jess, to overcome this? What do you even call it? It's this culture that's been created. It's a subculture in America of this entitlement or this being free from consequences mentality that's out there.
Yeah. Well, and well, I mean, one, I talk a lot about self awareness. Okay.
Hmm.
And so, understanding if you're a parent, it doesn't feel good to watch your kid lose. It
Hmm.
doesn't feel good to discipline them. It doesn't feel good. And just, it is what it is. Like, just take that and know it doesn't feel good for any parent that loves their child to fulfill a consequence that they brought upon themselves. Okay. Just recognize that that's hard. Second, just do the consequence anyways. Like, especially my youngest with her ADHD, like, it has been really, really hard trying to figure out consequences that match
Mm,
the discrepancy, right? Because it's not malicious disobedience that she does. It's literally squirrel, like literally, it's just distractions. And it doesn't matter that it's not malicious. There's still consequences for your actions when you leave your shoes in the middle of the living room and I asked you to pick them up. And when you forgot to do this, and there's still consequences to that because we're not raising kids, we're raising adults.
that's right.
Okay. So when she's an adult, she can't just say, I have ADHD. I got distracted. Sorry. Sorry, you're fired. That's what happens. So just know that it's just not going to be comfortable to hold your kids to standards and have consequences to help them get there.
And if they don't do that, you're setting your kids up for failure. That's what you're doing.
100%. Look at all these generations of
Gentle parenting.
wusses. I want to say a different word, but I can't. And they can't, they literally cannot function in life.
I'm going to bleep that out so everybody thinks you said it.
No, they can't function. Being a little nervous, oh God, I have anxiety. Being a little bit sad because something happened, oh, I struggle with depression. No, you don't. That's called sadness.
You know what I
Sit with it.
you know what I teach people to do, and it's the study that came out in early 2000s, where it talked about naming the emotion reduces it. It was about a UCLA. It reduces the negative experience by 30%. Just saying, "Oh, I feel sad today." But if we change it and we say, part of me feels sad because it'll reduce it by up to 50%. Could you imagine feeling 50% better? That would be amazing. Absolutely amazing to feel 50% better. So try that. Next time your kid says, I feel depressed. Ask questions like, well, why? What's happening? Well, this and this happened. Okay, so you feel, and then have them practice this. Have them say, let's try this. Say, I feel sad because of whatever reason they gave, and make them go through that exercise. I do this for myself on a rate when I go up to speak, Jess. I speak on stages all the time. I get so nervous. I feel like I'm going to throw up or crap my pants. That's anxiety. That's what happens to me. This is every time. I figure one day I'm going to get over this. Hasn't happened yet. Been doing this for a decade. But I have to, because I feel like I don't have a degree. Nobody's going to believe me. Like I don't deserve to be here. All those things start ruminating. I have to be like, no, no, no. I'm going to take that thought captive. Say, look, part of me feels nervous because I'm about to go speak to a group of people that I don't know.
Yeah,
Oh, immediately.
yeah, that's a really good tool.
I use it all the time. I use this. I have to use it all the time. And you guys can use that as well. A part of me feels whatever the emotion is because whatever the reason is. And a lot of people go through life and they feel a certain way and they can't describe it and they have no idea why. But it just takes a few moments of investigation, like you said, self reflection to find out what is that emotion that I'm feeling and why. And it'll reduce those negative effects by 50%.
And tool number 2 to back that up is just let your kids be sad sometimes. I remember real quick when I was planning a birthday party for my daughter, my oldest daughter, a special birthday for her, actually. One of those golden birthdays, or like it was like a milestone birthday. And I had set up something for my youngest daughter to go do that night so that she wasn't just like, oh, I'm the little sister, right? Like, and the thing fell through. And the mom and me trying to protect her from feeling sad was like, "Okay, well, what can I do? I can get an extra hotel. I got a hotel room for Liberty and her girlfriends. Well, I could get another hotel room and bring Autumn with me so we can." And it dawned on me, no, you teach people this, Jessica. Her
Yeah.
sister has a special birthday. She doesn't get to go. Other plans fell through. That's life. It's okay to be sad. And I was like, okay. And I had to watch my daughter be sad. And you know what? Everybody lived, and she's okay, and she's gonna be just fine, and she's gonna remember a time that she was sad because her sister got to have a birthday party. It's not that big of a deal. Let her freaking be sad. I'm telling you this way because I had to speak to myself like,
Get to drink your own medicine.
yeah. But I know that instinct to wanna, "Oh, I don't want her to feel sad, to miss out on." No, let your kids feel freaking sad. There we go. The mental health janitors were always here to try and encourage you.
We want to do three things. We want to educate, empower, and encourage you. But here's the thing. Our encouragement is not that like pat on the back, like keep going, buddy. No, that's not the encouragement. Our encouragement is for you to take the next step in your mental health journey. That's what our encouragement is. We accept you where you're at, but we're not going to let you stay there. We're going to challenge you to get better. That's why we're here every week. That's why we give you these trainings and these tools. And if you want more, you can go to thefirstonesfree.com where you'll find an entire library that we're just starting to build of free mental health tools that you can use. You use them, share them with a friend. They're there for you guys. And there's going to be a bunch of guests on there that you guys are going to be able to hear their stories and what they've experienced and how they've overcome it. And you get a free tool from them. So you guys can check that out. It's just starting to get built. Over this next year, we hope to have 100 different resources on there for you guys. So before we jump, I have one thing that just hit me, Jess. It's irony. The irony of that Marine. We're going to go all the way back to the beginning. That Marine who was protesting, he was pro-Palestine. I think his wife was from Palestine, I think, and he's got some kids. I don't know the whole story. But as he was getting drug out into the hall, he's yelling, from the river to the sea, free Palestine, whatever that chant is, right? Which basically means that they want to wipe out all of Israel, is basically what that chant means, death to Israel. And then he broke into like the halls of Montezuma, the Marines' hymn.
Mhm.
And it just, I had to kind of scratch my head and be like, bro, do you not know your Marine Corps history? Here's the irony of this guy protesting in favor of Palestine. This is the irony here for those of you who don't know. And every Marine listening is like, yes, I saw that too. I know exactly what he's going to talk about. Listen, the Marine Corps in 1775, in a bar in Philadelphia Tun Tavern, they stood up 2 battalions to fight the Barbary pirates who were raiding our naval ships, burning down our ports, and taking people hostage. The Barbary pirates were Muslim raiders. That's who they were. The Marine Corps was literally established to fight Muslim terrorists. That's exactly what they were designed to do, the Marine Corps. You don't have to believe me. You can look it up. Marine Corps History 101. So it was just a little ironic that this guy
Mhm.
is protesting in favor of Palestine as a Marine in uniform when the entire Marine Corps was established to fight Muslim terrorists. Anyway, for the Mental Health Janitors, I'm Sergeant Q,
I'm Doc Jess.
and we're out.